개인적으로 기대를 좀 많이 했는데 불의에 부상을 당해가지고 경기력을 잘 못 보여준 것 같아가지고 너무 슬펐어요. 장점도 너무 많죠. 기본기도 좋고 컨트롤도 괜찮고 심리전도 괜찮고.
본인은 좀 파악이잖아요.
현우 형은 경기가 다 똑같아가지고 안 봤어요. 아니, 현우 형은 좀 만족하고 있는 것 같더라고요. 오랜만에 뭐 10강도 가고 그런 것 같은데 현우 형이 좀 많이 죽었더라고요. 선수는 뭐 이젠 라이벌 같지도 않아요. 예전에 리즈컨 결승에서 졌던 게 아직도 기억이 나가지고 그 기억밖에 안 나요.
군대 갈 때가 된 것 같은데 왜 안 왔지? 항상 뭐 옛날부터 좀 약간 혼자 삭히는 성격이어가지고 혼자 집에서 많이 열받아 하지 않았을까. 그 선수는 플레이 스타일 자체가 좀 저랑 다르게 공격적이면서 좀 묵직한 스타일이어가지고.
선수는 들었는데 나는 왜 못 들을까? 저한테 우승을 준 선수? 예선 뚫은 것도 운이 좋았다고 생각해서 바로 떨어질 것 같습니다.
저를 떨어뜨린 동원이 형 복수 한번 해야 될 것 같고, 그래도 윤수가 아직 시간이 좀 더 걸리지 않을까 생각해요.
현우 형이랑 병재 형이랑 황교석 선수 맛있어 보이는 선수가 좀 있는 것 같아가지고.
옛날에는 다 친한 선수들이 많아가지고 막 이렇게 뱉어도 됐는데 지금은 오랜만에 보니까 낯설어가지고.
그러니까 차라리 그냥 내가 저도 그렇게 이상하지 않은 뭐 이병렬이나 주성우, 김준호 이런 선수랑 하는 게 좀 나은 것 같아요.
청주랑 제가 준호가 좀 잘하는 것 같아요.
준호 형이 요즘 너무 싫더라고요. 청주는 무조건 좀 피하고 싶고 병렬이 형 피하고 그러면 괜찮을 것 같아요. 게임 좀 짜증나게도 못하면은 그냥 사실 기분 좋은데 잘하니까 그런 것 같아요.
동원이 형이 졌을 때 그 동원이 형의 조롱이 너무 싫어요, 제가.
한잔하세요. 전패에도 만족.
저 표정을 찍어주세요.
그 10강 끝나고 일부러 못 오게 표정 되게 안 좋게 있었는데 그걸 꼭 와가지고
신영이 뭘 하자 하면은 반항하지 않고 잘 따를 것 같아서.
준호 형이랑 여행을 되게 자주 갔었는데 항상 재밌더라고요. 준호 형이랑 또 다시 가고 싶어요.
마루랑 할게요. 마루랑 저랑 성격이 비슷해요. 그래서 둘이 호텔에만 있을 것 같아가지고.
작년 이태엽이가 제일 여행은 원래 좀 편한 사람이랑 가야 되기 때문에.
그래서 김동원. 말이 너무 많고 여행 가면 막 다 시킬 것 같고 끌려다닐 것 같아요.
네, 유진이 형. 네, 아까 좀 유진이 형 좀 게으르고 해가지고 뒤치다거리 할 것 같아가지고 그렇네요.
여행 가면은 불만 많은 그런 사람들이랑 가기 싫거든요. 뭐 현역으로 뽑자면 이제 성주 같은 애들이고 이제 좀 은퇴한 사람들 중에 뽑자면 백동준 같은 스타일.
태양이 같은데 뭔가 잃어버릴 것 같고 그래가지고 뭐가 어떻게 나올지 모르겠는데 최대한 편하게 하고 가려고요 이제.
꿈꿔왔던 GSL 우승을 하기 위해 열심히 연습해서 올라가도록 하겠습니다.
후회 없이 좀 최선을 다해가지고 좀 즐기고 싶고 목표는 한번 좀 우승도 해보고 싶어요.
꼭 4강 가가지고 그냥 시드를 받고 다음에서 좀 피하고 싶어요.
Today's matchup: Zest, soO, Bunny, ByuN. Round of 20, Group B. Africa TV, Freak Up Studio, live. 2022 GSL Season 2.
Thanks for waiting, everybody. We're back, and it's time to get a winner for Group B. So ByuN did not manage to survive against Bunny. I think Bunny played even though he lost that first game, I think Bunny did play better overall.
Nice.
Rolled with the punches a little bit better.
Slow, methodical. It was really safe play.
Kind of the guy that's more prepared. You know, it paid off. I think ByuN, excuse me, kind of shot himself in the foot there. So we're going to have Bunny versus soO for the winner's match, and then to decide who's going to be eliminated first, it's going to be Zest versus ByuN.
Yeah, we got a lot of really good matches ahead of us. Bunny versus soO, though, I'm wondering, because soO, like, he's kind of getting back into the swing of things, but he did look very strong in that first series against Zest, who's one of the top Protoss players in Korea. Who are you thinking might take this one?
Well, I can't tell, and here's why, is that what Zest did is sort of the, like, play style of the last 2 years that hasn't really succeeded that well. I mean, we know Protosses don't do that well in GSL in general, but you kind of look at that play style and you go, yeah, that's sort of why. So I don't think it was the biggest challenge for soO to win. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
Where Bunny does look very modern, very good. And so I feel like this is going to be where we're really going to get a taste of where soO is at and how he can handle it. I think Bunny is probably the favorite for this group. I thought that before we came in, and I think it's fair to say now.
Gotta agree with you. I mean, his TVT's on point. I feel like he can hold his own against Zest easily if he has to play Zest later. And soO right now really has a lot to prove. He's coming back into the scene after a little bit of a hiatus.
But at the same time, you know, soO's one of these guys where he just sort of always seems to be one of the best, no matter what.
He's so talented. He's so skillful. And you know he's practicing out of his mind for this GSL.
Well, his military service is done. You know, now the future is his. Anyways, guys, we're going to go to Nautilus 2 for Bunny versus soO in the winner's match of the GSL.
Team NV, Bunny. Guangdong Freaks, soO.
Okay, so this is going to be, excuse me, on our 4-player map here. So, you know, we've got a lot more variables that we got to, you know, factor in here. But we both know the spawns here. They're both at the top. And this could be a little bit of a strain for the Zerg in these spots. I mean, that being said, it is a huge map, but you're kind of trying to work out these quadrants that the map can be cut up into. The King is back. Oh, he brought his soO shirt. Nice.
That's a nice shirt, man. I want to get my hands on some of that swag.
Excellent Carbot drawing there for Bunny as well. You know, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So, you know, with the 4-player map, this is not bad for Terran. It doesn't mean there's not stuff that Zerg can do, but we do want to watch if we can do a long game. It's going to be like the Terran probably leaning onto the Zerg. And the Zerg, normally on one-on-one maps, you're in diagonal spawns. And there are some exceptions, of course, but then you get the Zerg spreading creep in like 2 different directions and the Terran trying to juggle that. Here, it's like you're just both at the top.
Yeah, there's only really 2 lanes directly to your opponent's main base, which is that top one.
And so Zerg is obviously going to expand in that quadrant and then go down, but really a lot of games are decided with whether or not the Terran can push up towards the top right, for these spawns at least.
Yeah, and if you recall the game that we saw, I think, between Rogue and Gumiho here on Nautilus 2 in the first day of GSL, the game plan there was pretty much to contain the Zerg on as few bases as possible, because if you look at the way that it is on the map, soO right now, he has the potential to go up to 4 bases later into the game, assuming nothing crazy happens, in kind of a safe fashion. He's got that 3rd right there by the natural, and then on the low ground, he's got a 4th base that can take. But after that, it becomes a little bit difficult. The base at the top is too close to Bunny. The base at the bottom, yes, it's away from your opponent, but if Bunny's able to secure the middle of the map, as we saw Gumiho do against Rogue, it can become very problematic. So there's the potential for Bunny not to even go for a killing blow here, but to go for kind of a soft contain.
Sure.
Where soO eventually bleeds out, and Bunny is just able to overwhelm him as the resources start to dry up.
Yeah, you could just basically starve them out on that corner of the map. I mean, Zerg is a strong race, but it's undeniable that they need to have growth that's basically at a rate that's higher in order to even be functionally even, you know, with a Terran or a Protoss. So that is absolutely one way to play it, especially on maps like this. And this is kind of the 4-player map, you know, I don't want to say conundrum because it's like not a term that we all use, but like this is a thing that can happen on 4-player maps. I think more so in StarCraft 2 even than StarCraft 1, where like because of the speed at which the game moves, both sharing the top versus one person at the top left, the other at the bottom right, as an example, it really makes an insane difference.
It does change the flow of the game a lot, and it makes 4-player maps really vary a lot from game to game just based on the positions, which is, again, something that we really don't see that much in competitive StarCraft 2 these days. We had it a lot in the olden days.
Oh, for sure. Metalopolis and stuff like that.
Oh, God.
But, you know, the truth is I do think that 4-player maps, they do add an interesting kind of variety to games, right? There's a different flavor that you get out of that. But, by the way, we're going to have these Hellions almost come up towards the natural. I thought they were going to dive in for a second.
Maybe saw the creep spread really far down to the south and figured that it's too much reaction time for soO to be able to get any kind of damage done. And
yeah, soO's going to be ready.
Yeah, Cloak Banshee's now coming out as Bunny's working his way towards 3 barracks, and we'll see if he's able to find any damage with the Cloak Banshees and the Hellions in tandem. In the meantime, soO is going for quite a rapid spire here, so it looks like he wants to try and shut this kind of play down early.
And he might have wanted to go, oh, hold on.
Uh-oh.
Oh, what? He just like takes one drone, he's like, I'll cut my losses.
Well, it's dangerous. He's right there in the middle of the creep.
For sure, yeah. So what I was going to say is like the tech selection here from soO, this may be because of their proximity. You basically go Ling, Bane, Muta, and you try to just win the fights. If you win in the mid game, as in you do not, they can't contain you, they can't push you, the bottom right side of the map is yours. You get all the gold, all the fruit in the bottom right side of the map, and from there the Terran probably just loses in the late game.
I gotta say, this Banshee got so much work done.
Yeah.
I mean, it is gonna fall, but mutas are already coming out. The Banshee's utility is pretty much gone at this point, and in 8 drones, I'm pretty sure that includes the kill by the Hellion as well, but you absolutely take that as the Terran player. That's more than you're bargaining for with that Banshee opening.
So, we're getting the muted tech out now. +1 air weapons as well is going to come into play here. Terran secures the 3rd base, and we're basically waiting for this push to come. We know it's going to happen. It wouldn't make sense to do it on 2 bases. I think 3 bases is a healthy amount. Try to fight a Zerg on 3 to 4 bases. soO has time now to send the Mutalisks out here. I don't know if there's turrets up here, are there?
There's like 5 or 6 turrets. He actually made a ton of them.
Oh, yeah, okay. I wasn't sure if there's going to be one of the natural, but just anything you can do to force any defensive play out here. And shortly, we're going to have... oh, I don't know the story with those guys. Shortly here, we're going to have more 4th base, excuse me, come down here for soO.
Just popped down there on the right side, and these mutas not really able to find much damage as the muta count continues to grow here. 2 more in production after soO. He's also going to be starting his double evolution chamber, but gotta say, the double evo, it is a little bit late because soO did choose to go for these mutas so quickly. In fact, it's going to be finishing right about the same time that 1-1 is finishing for Bunny, so Bunny has the potential to have some really nice timing windows later in the game if he decides to go for a 2-2 push. Then the best that soO could possibly hope for is to have 1-1. And Bunny actually going to be moving out early now, so 1-1 versus 0-0 is going to be the play in the cards. He's going to try and control the creep spread just a little bit and take a foothold here on the map.
Yeah, looks like he won't have time to open up those rocks. And this is going to be Bunny's chance to try to crush soO. This is really the climax of the game right now, as everything is sort of hinged on the Terran trying to come in here and crush through the Zerg.
I gotta say, soO really doesn't have a lot of units on the ground, and he's continuing to build Mutalisks, but his Baneling count right now, it's very low. The Ling count, it's not very impressive. 1-1 upgrades are maybe a minute out.
These Hellbats here, I feel like, you know, Bunny's identified exactly the only way that soO can stop this. The question is it going to work for Bunny? His tanks are on siege. He's going to actually do a big leap up and siege up. I think he's barely in range of that hatchery. Okay.
Just barely out of it.
Yeah.
But this is a fantastic position to start posturing from right now, as soO's going to try and pick away from these really nice connections there in the Hellbats. That's going to help his Lings out a lot, but these are many, many upgraded Marines. And this force from Bunny looks like it's going to be hard to deal with. Here we go, soO's coming in right now, the Lings and Banes, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough. All the Banes just get evaporated immediately by the siege tanks, and Bunny with full confidence pushing forward with these upgraded Marines.
Dude, this
soO has nothing.
A masterclass in TDZ on Nautilus here. Just needs to avoid some of those Bane hits.
Oh!
That actually could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, those hits were fantastic there by soO, pushing the momentum a little bit back, but again, the force is continuing to rally in here for Bunny. I'm not sure if soO's going to be able to stabilize here unless he gets some more great connections.
Yeah, the Mutas are going to come up here, so are the Queens. And I think actually just barely, Bunny's going to still manage to push through here.
I don't know, that Baneling push coming in from the top actually took a lot of the oomph out of this push. It was looking there like soO might just be able to tap out,
Dude,
but
I can't believe it. I think that Bunny was literally about to win that, overextended, did not respect the threat that Banelings had, couldn't split his Marines, couldn't fork him out in the right direction, and here we are.
You broke that down perfectly, and that 1-1 window is closed now. Upgrades are even, so it's a big advantage. It's going to be kind of put on the wayside now until 2-2 finishes here for the Terran. And like you said, I really feel like Bunny had an opportunity just to close that game out. I mean, the start of that engagement couldn't have gone better. The Marine count was insanely high. But just like you said, he overextended, the Banelings came in, and soO, to his credit, got some fantastic connections.
Now, soO's not out of the woods yet. The Terran's going to expand uncomfortably close to the third base of the Zerg here. But, you know, all those Hellbats are gone. Let's keep that in mind as we go forward here. The Hellbats were kind of the handy unit to mute the Zerglings and soak for the Banes.
The siege tanks are mostly gone as well. He was not continuing to build them. Instead, he opted for the Thor, and now he's only down to 1 tank. So it's going to be mostly bio here as we see some Marauders starting to mix in.
He's switching to Widow Mines, kind of the alternative splash damage unit. And he's going to set up a very conservative position on the low ground here and try to basically fish the army towards the siege tank, Thor, whatever else who's going to fire at that range, and then punish there. And I mean, again, this is kind of scary here. I mean, Terran with far superior supply right now, and I'd say a much better position is really starting to strain soO.
There's a lot of Banelings out there for soO, though. If he's able to get some connections, he might be able to make something work. But I mean, the spread by Bunny here on the low ground is absolutely beautiful. Like, how do you break that with the composition of soO right now? I don't see any way.
Yeah, he just needs to get a little bit more splash damage onto the high ground here, scooping up anything that gets too close. And again, the Thor is a real threat to these mutas. Every time these mutas get shot, they're really starting to hurt.
All right, Zerglings coming in now, but some really nice connections there. The Thor takes a lot of the damage from the Banelings, but eats it up like nothing. And the army supply is almost doubled now for Bunny, as soO was able to buy some time there with that defense earlier, but now it's looking like too little too late, and that's going to be it. Bunny wins map number 1 here in our winners match, going up 1-0 against soO.
Dude, he squished him like a bug. You could even see Bunny shaking his head, probably going back to that moment when we first thought he was going to win the game. And, you know, it's easy for anybody to think, okay, you know, when do I actually shove? And sometimes that's, you know, the moment where you're like, all right, now I'm going to snap kill him. He actually overextended there, and then soO clawed his way back into the game. And it was close for a little bit again. But anyways, I think Bunny clearly a stronger player. But look, that was Nautilus too. Those positions are kind of tough for Zerg. And, you know, we called it before we really got that far in the game. That's basically what Terran wants to do there. They want to play, you know, a push game, a control game. And you can see, you know, at the very end, the 4th base is next to the Zerg's 3rd. The Terran's 4th base, I mean, is next to the Zerg's 3rd. Pretty good for Terran. Berlingrad is where we're going to go for map 2. Again, the winner of this best of 3 moves on to the next round of the GSL.
Came for war. Team NV, Bunny. Guangdong Freaks, soO.
I've got to say, after that first game against ByuN, Bunny's been looking really solid.
Yeah.
The 2-0 follow-up and then winning this first game against soO, it just feels like his kind of slow, methodical style. And then even that really aggressive push there in the previous game, he's just playing really well right now.
He looks better than everybody. I mean, just honestly. And I always appreciate this about Bunny because, I mean, obviously I've been casting GSL since the beginning, but Bunny was a player who was very much in the background compared to these other guys, overshadowed by a lot of Korean pros, a lot of Terran Korean pros even. and basically just kept showing up season after season, always with a better iteration of himself. And I think that really speaks to a lot of people who are still students of the game, right? I mean, it's look, the whole era of Nesty and MVP and these people that had breakout performances early on. That's cool. That's exciting. And look, somebody has to do it when a game comes out, right? But the people that can stick with the game when honestly it's a lot more competitive, the game is a lot more solved, and so you have to really do a lot more homework to ever compete. When you have a game as seasoned as this one, to see Bunny really apply himself through, that decade plus, and then, outshine a lineup of like, literally, look at this. This is soO, ByuN, and Zest. We're talking world champions, GSL champions, then soO's gotten more second places than anybody here. I mean, it's crazy. And then here it's actually Bunny who is the strongest in the group. But it goes to show you that, like, people excel at things at different times. Some people are late bloomers, and Bunny's one, but, Bunny's reaping the success of that now.
Yeah, that he's put in, and this is probably no exaggeration, tens of thousands of hours of trying to become the player that he is today. It takes so much work to grind like that, from being basically one of the kind of bottom rung rookie Terrans into developing to the player that he is today. I mean, he's one of the most consistent Terran players in GSL for the past couple of years.
Yeah.
He might not be winning championships, but this is a guy that you could pretty much consistently rely on to reach like the top 8, or now in the new format, the top 10.
Sure.
And have a really respectable showing. So,
and I mean, it reminds me a little bit of Creator, who we had in the finals last year, where it's like Creator was, I think, always performing worse than Bunny, we should say, with the exception of the first year or two of GSL. But yeah, I mean, to see Bunny just always looking better and better, it's really a thing to marvel at. So, in this game, we don't see anything too surprising. Zerg's continuing to develop up. We do have a Viking as part of the tech here for Terran, so he's going to use that to try to clean out Overlords. But, it's your standard couple of Hellions to come out here and spot and look for creep, and behind that it's Stim, and, it's going to be a little bit before this game really picks up.
Yeah, it's about as standard as it gets. No 4-6 Hellion run-bys, no Marauders and Medevacs as we saw in that TVP. No Cloak Banshees, nothing crazy going on, as Bunny's just going to try and poke and prod a little bit. Does get a creep tumor for his trouble over there, just trading a little bit of health on the HPs for the Hellions to get that. And yeah, I see him powering up now with, that's the 5th barracks coming in. So going to see some really heavy bio play, and I want to see exactly what the upgrade timings is for Bunny, because Bunny seems like the kind of player, especially like that in the previous game where he got the really fast 1-1, and he leveraged that advantage as best as he possibly could.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the entire time that he had an upgrade advantage, he was battling.
Yes. He was fighting. He was brawling. Now, look, this game, just judging from the way that they're both playing, like we see the Baneling's Nest coming down here now, the layers on the way, and then Terran is going for tanks and Marines. We could end up with a very similar looking game, but I think this is a little bit more of a fair fight.
Oh, for sure.
Compared to game 1, where, generally the rule is Zerg in a perfect, if Zerg, how do I say this? It's always better for the Zerg to be further away, is simply put what I'm trying to say against the Terran, because all the Zerg wants to do is grow and get ahead enough that the other race can't catch up. And so a game like game 1, it's like you're literally stuck in the cage with the bear.
Especially on Nautilus in close air positions, because, we saw it. It's like a leap, skip, and a jump to get over to the Zerg space. And then
they're next door neighbors, like, and there's not a whole lot to traverse to get to each other. Where this map's actually a little bit different, in that it's like more, your kind of classic competitive map. Zerg has 2 fronts that they have to defend, but that's almost a little bit more of a burden on the Terran, because it's not hard to spread creep out, but it is hard to kind of break through creep and keep those positions as they are.
Little poke here by Bunny, trying to keep the creep spread under control, and that's a lot of queens. And I got to say, to soO's credit, he's been really good about this creep spread so far. All these transfuse coming on. Not taking any queens out just yet, and we'll see if Bunny wants to kind of push this engagement a little bit, but that's a lot of Ling Baneling.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried for Bunny here. This doesn't look at all like it's going to be able to last here. There is some more reinforcements coming up. A lot more Banes are being made, though.
Bailing speed's about to finish as well with 8 more Banes in production.
I feel like we're seeing Bunny in the jaws of the beast here, and he doesn't even realize it.
I feel a lot better about him taking this position right here on this ramp, though. That's a really smart spot for him to be. It reduces the risk of a flank by a lot. You see now soO trying to make that same flank setup on the low ground there to the right, but there's no creep spread, so it's not as quick. And Bunny now, considering the pressure, I'm surprised at the tenacity that he has with his push right here.
There's like more Queens than Marines when he's fighting anyways. All right. Oh my god, an even on siege. Now hold on, is this gonna work at all? The Banes are actually clustered very poorly. It seemed, okay, that was just so weird.
Yeah.
It seemed like he had several hotkeys set up and he didn't input it right, is actually what that looked like.
It looked like he sent everything to attack at the same time, but because the units on the south weren't on creep, they just came so much later. It was like they were funneling in at different times. And Bunny with a beautiful spread.
He had him on different hotkeys to try to sync him and it didn't work. But
maybe. That was a bad trade there for soO, though, overall. I mean, he has a lot of banelings up still, but the creep spread right now is not very healthy, and without good creep spread, you can't really connect the Banes.
Keep in mind, you only need one good trade as Zerg here against the Terran. More tanks are coming up, and he's going to continue to try to fish out these Banes. The Banes narrowly avoiding the splash damage from the tanks. Only 3 medevacs here, so not a lot of sustain here. I'm sorry, 4 medevacs that all don't have energy, so I was right initially. Still not a lot of sustain here.
Yeah, 5th medevac coming in now to provide some extra healing, but yeah, these Marines are really low.
Yeah, you got to be careful overstimming because, you know, eventually you're just running around with a bunch of red Marines that just get popped.
Oh boy.
Another flank is ready. Was Terran too busy trying to harass up here and not cleaning out the creep? At the bottom.
All right, here we go. Zergling coming in again. This is off creep though, but
really good spreading.
Yeah, good split there by Bunny, but soO was able to take a lot of the bio out. Let's see if the Remax is going to be enough for him to be able to hold on. Bunny now taking this advantage to push with his Marines to pick off even more Queens to get on the production of the 3rd hatch. That's a lot of Larva that could pop, and now kiting back into the siege tanks. Fantastic control from Bunny right now as he's looking to push this lead.
This is kind of a crazy chase that's happening down here. He is going to save the Marines. You know, normally you want the Lings to dive onto the tanks if they can and let the Marines just run. But soO kind of had it inverted there where he was chasing the Marines up and letting the siege tanks damage the Lings. I think we actually just saw the tipping point here. Usually when all the Queens die, that's when you really don't have any way to also fight back with damage unless the Lings or Banes are touching. Dude, just savage shots from these tanks.
Yep, Bunny with some immaculate control, playing the map perfectly right now, and that's going to be it. Bunny's going to be the first player to advance from Group B in a really convincing fashion.
Bunster the Munster.
Is that what you call him?
Oh, that's what we all call him. That was a great performance by him. And, you know, really in a tug of war over there, actually overpowering soO, that's saying a lot. Because soO almost pretty much never dies, like in those games in the past. But Bunny did it. He is going to be advancing now to the next round of the GSL. Of course, soO is not eliminated. He will now wait in the final match. Yeah, man. So cool to see Bunny, you know, continue to assert his dominance against such a storied group.
Yeah, that was
Bunny
really
defeats
fantastic
soO, and he moves on to round of 10. Congratulations. Thank you. So last season you were eliminated in the round of 20, but this time you managed to move on to round of 10. How do you feel? Well, last season I thought my form was quite good, but at the time I hurt my hand and I was really frustrated at the time. So I'm really happy to have won today. Frustration, Bunny. So what about your hand now? Is it okay now? Yes, my hand is completely healed, and so I don't have any problem on a daily basis. Let's talk about the winner's game, winner's match. So you start off with the double barracks, and then you excluded the roach in your strategy.
애초에 좀 준비했던 빌드는 아니었는데.
So it wasn't a build I prepared for beforehand.
좀 손도 그렇고 뭔가.
But while I was preparing today, I felt like my concentration level was not that good today. So I had a feeling if I go for macro-oriented play, I wouldn't be able to play well. So that's why I changed it in Impromptu today. So a 2-0 victory over soO. Bunny, so are you confident now?
아니요, 없고요.
No, not that much confidence right now.
곧 맵이 좀 바뀐다고 들었는데.
I heard that the maps are gonna change soon. So I really hope to see the change very soon. In second game, you went the all-in to defeat the opponent. And in the third game, you secure another victory to complete a reverse sweep. So did you anticipate this victory today, Bunny? When I was playing the games online recently, I did go for the first gas and then the barracks build. And then, you know, I had a feeling that proxy is gonna work well today. I heard that your online match yesterday, you lost it. Is that right, Bunny?
어제도 당연히 최선을 다했는데.
I mean, yesterday I tried my hardest.
태태전을 되게 좀 까다롭게 잘하거든요.
But you know, TVT has been quite hard these days.
자신감이 좀 떨어졌어요.
So I did my confidence did wane a bit after my loss yesterday.
저는 무엇보다 그 1세트 베를린그라드에서 그 지뢰가 안 터져가지고
In first game,
오늘
the Widow Mine didn't detonate in Berlingrad, and that must have been very disappointing for you.
제가 그 지뢰 심는 위치가
I mean, the position of the Widow Mine. I always planted in that position, and it sometimes detonates and it sometimes doesn't. It's pure chance.
좀 집에 가서 좀 더 연구를 해봐야 돼.
So you know, when I go back home, I'm gonna have to experiment a bit with that Widow Mine. So last season we didn't have you in the round of 10, which was a full league system that has been incorporated very quite recently.
떨어지니까 경기 자체가 너무 보기가 싫더라고요.
You know, after my elimination, I really didn't want to watch GSL matches because I was so gutted.
예전보다 보는 맛이 좀 더.
But it feels like after this change of the full league system, I feel like it's more entertaining to watch GSL. In the round of 10, ByuN, Gumio, Keen. You said they're all very easy praise, and they're all Terrans. So what was the reason behind that? Well, Terrans these days, it's been very hard for them. So other than TVT, every other race is hard to play against. You know, I have so much to talk about with the balance, but you know, since I won today, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. You know, these days, Hero has been playing really well. So right now he's on a roll, and Protoss players in general have been performing really well. So what do you think about Hero as your opponent? Well, ever since Hero came back, you know, a long time ago Protoss wasn't that hard to deal with, but after his return, you know, Protoss started playing these picky builds that is really hard to cope against. And Creator suddenly changed his playstyle as well, and it's more solid now. So I think Creator and Hero are both tough opponents. So last season was a bitter loss for you, Bunny. So anything you want to say before you go? So last season, you know, was full of disappointment. But this season, I hope to make better performance compared to last season. Once again, congratulations on moving out as the first place. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. All right, well, Bunny moves on. Clearly the best player in the group, but now it's kind of weird because we have 3 players, I think, all of which are easily fan favorites, all of different races, and only one is going to survive.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to take it. soO looked really solid in his first match there of the night, but then against, I mean, his ZVT maybe doesn't hold up to I don't know the saying. There's a saying. There's some kind of saying.
Well,
I don't know.
I'm
It
not going to
doesn't
help you at all. I'm like, no, go on, dude. What are you going to say? Like,
no, I feel like his ZVT, maybe he needs a little bit more practice. I mean, he's just trying to get back into the swing of things. And I feel like maybe if Zest is able to come out and win the elimination match, then soO's chance of advancing is really high. But I'm not sure if he'll be able to beat ByuN. So there's a lot of moving parts here. Anyway, guys, we're going to be going to a break. When we get back, the elimination match. Stay tuned.